Thank you, Mr. Chair. Minister Lametti, in the last Parliament alone, and you know I represent Inuit in a predominance of Inuit in Nunavut. C-55, changes to the Ocean Protection Act, was passed by the Senate with amendments brought forward by the Inuvialuit Regional Corporation. Those amendments were rejected in the House and the bill passed into law. During consideration of C-91, the Indigenous Languages Act, Inuit leaders both nationally and regionally voiced their concern about the insufficient level of protection being afforded to an established language such as Inuktitut, brought forward amendments. They were also rejected. Now Inuit leaders have unanimously asked us both on the record and via written submissions to include a layer of accountability by establishing a proposed Indigenous Human Rights Council. My question is really, why must the Inuit always bend or wait for another time to have their concerns addressed? You said that amendments in committee were driven by Indigenous people. Why has this reasonable amendment from the Inuit not been incorporated into this bill?
Thank you, Senator. I would say simply because of its complexity, but I have spoken with President Obed, the other leaders of the 4 regional regions, and as well as other Inuit leaders. And it is a concern. You are absolutely right that all of them have raised with me, and it is a concern that I share. I do believe that UNDRIP pushes us towards more accountable institutions, and I've pledged to President Obed and others that I will work to develop those institutions. In the time frame we had, as I expressed again to President Obed and others who are leaders within the Inuit community, despite despite being sympathetic to that call, I felt it was simply too complex to be able to do that across the board in the complexity of the Indigenous landscape, if you will, across Canada. But I pledge to continue to work through that in the implementation process, in the development of the action plan, in concert with Inuit leadership, because I do share the belief that this is an important part of implementing UNDRIP.
Thank you, Minister. And just a real quick one, and we're going to maybe have a chance to ask your officials. Are you aware that your officials have not fulfilled their promise to table a list of consultations that took place, promised earlier this month?
I know that we have published a What We Heard document. The consultation list continues because I continue to consult. And I would say, Senator Patterson, that I'm very proud of the work that Laurie Sargent and others have done on this, as well as my political team. I think they have been outstanding in the time frame that they have had. And frankly, I think they've earned a great deal of respect from Indigenous leadership across Canada, and I've had compliments from them. So I appreciate the work that my officials have done.
Thank you.
We still need the list, the full list.
Thank you, Minister Lametti. The time for this panel is now